Alrighty, so we got a brand new box from Tru-Tone bulbs. So last week, Tru-Tone, if you signed up for newsletters and stuff like that from Tru-Tone, you get new product alerts and stuff like that. So I seen the email late at night for their new bulb covers. They classify them as ice lights. So for me, growing up in the later 70s and 80s, my definition of ice lights might be a little different than what others would think. So my definition of ice lights are the classic GE ice lights. And if you don't know what they look like, I'll bring up a picture so you can see what they are. So these are the lighted ice lights. So for me, when somebody talks about ice lights, I think of these. So these are the GE ones. They're like a G40 type bulb. It's a globe type bulb, and it's got a colored or clear, like sugar coating or resin granulars that is adhered to the glass envelope. So for me, I know what they look like. I know what they look like when they're lit. I even know the smell of them because they have a unique smell when you have them lit. So anybody who has these vintage lights knows what these are. So with that said, let's open this up and check out Tru-Tone's interpretation of ice lights. So this is brand new, never been opened, so I don't know what they look like. So I did previously test out their other lighted ice covers. They look like these. So I had a video or live stream of these things. These are the polycarbonate lamp covers, and these are a 3-piece design, and you can either use 2 pieces or 3 pieces. But for me, with the cost of them, if I were to use them, I would use all 3 pieces just because of the cost of them. So I'll use my little turntable here because I seldom use it. And I have both of the colored ones and the clear ones. And of course, you get a deck mount, so that's cool. And everything they do is vintage colored. So the shipping label is like vintage off-white. Of course, the camera ain't going to pick it up very well, but you can tell it's off-white, and even the included manifest is off-white. So that's that, the packaging. So we'll open this one up. So these are 6 accessory covers. So these are covers that go over your lamps, and they're specifically designed for the C7 type bulbs. Ideally the clear ones, so either the candle glow or your equivalent to a C7 nightlight bulb. So here they are, and they're kind of like a squishy silicone. So of course the light's going to dry. There you go. There's a good picture. So it's kind of like a simulated granular tone, and that's where the bulb goes in. So if I stick my finger in there, that's what it's going to look like. So these are going to slip over the bulbs, and like I said, I got them in a little sample because I don't do a lot of C7 in the house and stuff like that. So that's the clear. These are supposedly the colored ones. So they're kind of like a little bit of a pastel. They look a lot better on camera. For me, they're a little bit less intense color, but still pretty cool. So let's go over and high Pete, house Pete. Everything doing well in your little part of the world. So we'll go over to the overhead. So like I said, these are the they're polycarbonate ones. So this is my little sample set, kind of like a guinea pig set of Tru-Tone bulbs. And for me, the classic green and white with the well, of course, it's still plastic, but if these were actually vintage lights, it would have the classic plastic. I don't remember what it's called. The covers and stuff like that for the outlets. So these are supposedly going to just slip on over the bulb. And Tru-Tone does have a little video of how to put these on. They shouldn't be that very hard to put on. They say to twist it as you're pushing it in at the same time. So if you're going to twist it, you probably want to twist it screwing it in. And you're going to have the whole apparatus go over the beveled part of the lamp holder. So where it starts to flare out. And that's ideally where you're going to set it. And there, it's only a light cover, so there's going to be some jiggling and some wiggling, but ideally it should be pretty much guaranteed not to fall off. I mean, you really got to work at it, get them to fall off. You twist them off, really. And they say if you want to, you can use like a little bit of dish soap to help you aid putting these on. So really the only thing you got to watch for is you don't put too much pressure on the clip, because you'll shear it right off. So, and of course this string is a set of 10, so for me it's going to be kind of like an oddball number of light covers with the string lights. So we'll put these on as such, and we'll take a look at them. So for me, it's not like the real thing, but we'll see what they look like when they're lit up. Of course, when you view these things at a distance, they'll probably look more realistic as the real thing. So this is their first generation of these things. I would assume they'll probably refine these things to make them maybe look a little bit more better. Maybe not, I don't know. So we'll put the last one here on, and we'll take a look at them. And then while we're doing this, we got, what, 2 more left? 3 more left? We'll put a couple of clear ones on as I put the box back on the rotating table here. So we'll put a couple of clear ones on just for show, and we'll take a look at them at the when they're lit up. So these go on relatively easy once you get used to it, get the hang of them. But just as a reminder, make sure you don't put a lot of strain on that branch clip, because like I said, you'll shear them right off, and then you got to get a new lamp socket to replace it. And for the last one, so these ain't really all that expensive. They're a lot cheaper decorative option than these guys. These guys are really expensive for what they are. So that takes care of that. So now we'll go over to the main side over here for a little bit. We'll plug these in flicker free. So if you remember, I built this contraption Of course, it's crude, just to prove a point that you can run certain LED Christmas strings at a limited length on DC power. So this is my little rig, and that's all it is just a traditional Christmas light ends with a capacitor, a diode, and this incandescent bulb that takes care of takes the alternating current and makes it into DC power. Of course, you can't run your whole string. I think I did a limited amount of Christmas lights. I think you can only go so many sets, like 2 sets at most, maybe 2 or 3, depending on the length on DC power, because otherwise you get voltage drop and then they crap out. So there they are. So we'll take a look on them over on the overhead. Of course, we got our little oddball there, our star. So yeah, they kind of look like a vintage ice light. I mean, it's got from a distance. Of course, the camera is probably not really going to pick it up very well, but there's little spots that rise above the surface that kind of looks like the real thing. So up close, somebody would say, yeah, no way, that's an ice light. But from a distance, you'd be like, hey, ice lights. And I'm talking about a long distance away. So pretty close, not exactly exact from my interpretation of an ice light, but a very nice color and shade. Of course, some of the pastel colors are a little off from the real thing. Of course, we got this one's like an orangey, like an orange red, I guess, and this one's kind of like a very faded out, kind of like a yellow. And then we got a green, kind of like a very light green. It's a lot lighter shade than the color green on the sockets. The blue looks pretty good from a distance. And then we got a pink and a purple. So that's that. That's the purple one and stuff like that. So not bad. Yeah. Of course, having them all together here is kind of probably. Of course, having web camera as a streaming camera is probably not really the best setup, but of course, with all Christmas lights, the camera makes all the difference in the world of what they look like. Of course, on this particular camera, especially the overhead, it looks like it's all, like one color. So even at a distance, if I that's a colored one, but it looks like it's white. As a matter of fact, they all look white. So I don't know. Of course, the camera will never do it any justice. Of course, if I turn the light off, if I can get to it. Yeah, you don't really notice much difference between the two colors. I mean, the orangey red looks white. The blue looks like a little bit of blue. Looks like a turquoise blue. And of course, the pink looks white. The purple looks white. The green is very light green, very light. I mean, talk about light, like light. And the yellow, but they look better in person than what the camera can show. That's just one of them bizarre things to look at. Of course, if you wanted to cheat and intensify the light a little bit, I guess we could use a colored bulb. So I do have some colored bulbs here. Of course, not all of them are going to match, because the Tru-Tone colors are the basic Christmas colors. Red, orange, green, blue, and kind of like a pinky. So the orange one, we can use an orange bulb. and see if that makes any difference. So basically these guys should come off really easy if you want to. Of course you got to twist it and pull at the same time. So they want you to use the a clear bulb, but it'd be kind of interesting to see what it does, probably a more intense color with an actual colored bulb. Of course it might look a little better on camera. To me it does. So, of course on the web camera, they don't look that great. Yeah, the color, even the at a distance, they still look like they're all white. So that kind of sucks. Maybe if I get up closer to the camera. Yeah, it still bleaches them out. But they do, it does look better. In person, it does look better. So that's for sure. So the next closest color is the blue one. Of course, the pink and the purple, you never, unless you actually got a pink or purple bulb, you'll never be able to intensify that. But this is kind of a neat little experiment. So blue bulb on a blue silicone cover. That's what I'm going to call them, silicone covers. So that looks way more, that looks a lot better, even on this crappy camera. The blue looks very nice. And at a distance, you see the little sparkles, kind of like the real thing, but not quite. Nothing beats the real thing. Of course, them bulbs are just in new old stocks type status. So even at distance, the blue looks a little bit better on camera. That's just the way that is. So the next closest color is the green. Unfortunately, Tru-Tone don't have yellow bulbs to demonstrate here, but we got green one. So the green might make the green actually look a little bit better. So there's the green. The green does look better with an actual green bulb in it. Of course, at a distance with the camera, it looks like it's got a big old hot spot in it. But even the real thing had a hot spot in the middle of it. So depending on how much of granular coating was on it, it was, you can always see that bright color in it. So unfortunately, like I said earlier, the pink and the purple, there's no pink and purple Tru-Tone bulbs. So let's try the orange with the red. Maybe that's her interpretation of red. It could be orange. So we'll put a red bulb in there and see what that looks like. That one broke. They are glass, so if you drop them, they're going to break. So that sucks for that one. So there's the red. Oh yeah, the red looks a lot nicer. Of course, on there it's all bleached out, so that sucks. Try the overhead. Overhead makes it look pink. The hot spot, yeah. But in real life, it looks better in person, like I said. So, unfortunately, I got one died. Of course, it's still going to work because it's LED. So that sucks for that bulb. But like I said, they are glass, and like I said in a previous live stream, these are coated on the outside. So if you scratch them, you're going to see that annoying scratch mark that's going to plague most modern bulbs. So we got this little guy here, so we can smash off the rest of the glass, and then we'll plug them in. How's that? So straighten these out. And that's all it is. Just filament style LEDs on a soldered to a traditional lamp holder. So really no big difference on technology on the bulb. So we'll take that one out, and since that's we'll unplug this just for so I don't get buzzed. See what a bear style. It still works. Yeah, it still works. Of course, you wouldn't want to touch it with your bare hands. So that's what that looks like. Of course, I got the anti-flicker thing going here. So I guess that's all the show for today. The Tru-Tones. They look like the real thing? Not quite. Are they close? Yeah, they're close enough at a distance. It looks a little different. I'll probably, just for a little something different this year for Christmas, I might put these covers on the laboratory tree here that's up at the corner here. So it's up there on the behind the tail of Airwolf's tail rotor there. So he'll be coming down in literally a couple of months. Coming by fast, that's for sure. So, oh, it looks like I lost all my Christmas guys. So there's only me and Pete hanging out in here. So let's see, what's Pete got to say? Unfortunately, still living in the world off of paperwork. I've never seen ice lights before. And then, yeah, blue pink rest look like clear, maybe lesser brightness. Yeah, that's one good thing about the Tru-Tone bulbs. You can dim them. I don't have a dimmer here to tone them down a little bit, but I think if you wanted to, you could use some colored lamps. Of course, if you could find them in pink and purple and yellow, I think that would make the color more intense. So I know they make pink and purple lamps, stuff like that. They make them. Of course, it'd be I don't know if you could find them in LED or incandescent. I don't know if these are rated for incandescent bulbs. I would assume yeah, because you're dealing with Christmas lights. Of course, it doesn't say anything on the box about not using incandescent bulbs. See then, illuminate. Yeah. Anything? Yeah, okay. So, I would assume you could probably use them for incandescent. I would assume that they are heat tolerant silicone rubber for the covers and stuff like that. So let's go over to the website quick just to see what they look like on their website. So we'll go over there in a second. I gotta switch over. So there is the Tru-Tone website, and like I said, these just come out. That's their interpretation of the frosted globes. You can even tell on the picture there, they're not quite like the real thing. Well, for me anyway, the real thing. Maybe to somebody who's a lot younger than me, you'd be like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. So You get two different styles. You get the colored ones, and then you get the clear ones. They come in 6-packs, like I said. And of course, they're unbreakable because they're silicone rubber, except for the bulb, which are glass. And as you've seen earlier, I smashed one. And these they're designed for their candle glows, and of course they're fully dimmable and stuff like that. So that's just an option. Of course, you can buy the complete light sets, which are a set of 12, or you can buy them just the box colors, the 6-pack colored or the 6-pack clear, and it tells you right here to push and twist at the same time to twist them on. So there's our little video, and of course there's more information on there. And they're not that much. They're only $12 per 6-pack. So $2 a piece. So for some that might be a little expensive, but that's your interpretation of expense. And of course you can buy the whole 12-inch set for $60. So unlike the web camera, when you have a real camera, this is what they look like. And they look pretty much on a picture here or on your screen. That's what they look like in real life. Of course, my cameras, they're only web cameras, so they suck. You got to have a real camera to pick up Christmas-like colors. So we'll finish this off. We'll watch your little 48-second clip here. I don't know if there's any volume in here or not. Probably not. I'm going to show you how to put them on. So there's your little light clip. Of course, YouTube's starting to complain now that I'm not sending out enough bit rate. How's that possible? Oh yeah, it's going in and out. So probably the stream sucks. So we'll end it here. That's all I really got to offer for this little particular live stream. So until the next one, we'll see you on the next one. So take care. Oh, sure. OBS crap. See you later.